Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. It is the first leg. It is Scotland against Greece, and it's full live commentary with Pat Nevin and Al Lamont.
Thanks very much, Richard. Welcome to the Stadio Georgios Kariskakis in Piraeus, Athens, as Scotland look to record a positive first leg result in this Nations League A playoff against the host Greece. It's a fiery old atmosphere in this compact little stadium as the sides emerge from the tunnel here at the home of Olympiacos. Around 16 or 1,700 Scots officially with tickets, but a good few more have found a way to add their voice to the away support, and they'll be making themselves heard in just a few moments as the teams line up on either side of the centre circle. And very shortly, the strains of Flower of Scotland will ring around the stadium. The national anthems almost upon us. Rendition of Flower of Scotland. Who knew Pat Nevin was so tuneful?
Do you know what? It was noisy over there, but I wish they would turn the volume down. We could have it there.
And now the Greek national anthem. No doubting the passion of these home fans, around 30,000 of whom have gathered this evening, hoping to see their side continue the good form that has brought them here, winning 6 of their last 7, including a 2-1 victory at Wembley. Indeed, their only Nations League defeat came against England across the city here in Athens. But Scotland have picked up themselves recently, and they're aiming to avoid this League A stint being a one-campaign wonder, a 3-game unbeaten spurt, including wins over Croatia and Poland, to bring them here for a 2-match showdown against Greece. The sides almost finished the formalities pre-match. The Scotland team in their navy kit lining up for the team photo, with Craig Gordon all in luminous yellow as he makes his 80th team appearance for Scotland at 42 years of age. Greece are all in white tonight as they themselves gather for the assembled photographers, and the match officials just await the Greek captain Andy Robertson already patiently waiting on the halfway line to go through the exchange of pennants and the coin toss with our match referee Tobias Stieler of Germany. All the officials from Germany, as Petros Mantalos of AEK Athens, the 33-year-old midfielder, joins Robertson in exchange of the pennants, and we are almost ready to get up and running. It looks like the teams are going to change ends, a relative novelty in football these days.
It's getting much bigger in England, much bigger. Long overdue. I mean, you do not want the home team to feel comfortable in any way. So if you're the away team and you win the toss, turn them around. Always do it, and always the fans. And that's exactly what you want to do.
Absolutely. It will be Scotland then to kick us off here in a momentous match. Huge evening here in the Greek capital. 9:45 local time. The weather has been pleasant, but certainly the temperatures have dipped considerably, certainly into single digits as we prepare to kick off here. Black skies above us, really good atmosphere inside this stadium as McTominay goes back to John Souttar, and Scotland immediately launch the ball long in search of Shea Adams, but Greece are picked up, and it's Lazaros Rota, the right back, playing it forwards. Kenny McLean bundled to the ground, and after a fashion, the referee does point for the free kick to Scotland inside these opening few seconds. And Scotland will get the free kick to be taken by Grant Hanley. Actually, he's leaving it to Andy Robertson. Just a quick opportunity, Pat, to just ask you about the inclusion of Grant Hanley, who's barely played for League One Birmingham. The other options there, like of Scott McKenna, who's playing relatively regularly in La Liga with Las Palmas, as Scotland tried to come forward, but McTominay dispossessed with the assistant referee's flag for a free kick to Scotland in a decent area. But quick thoughts on Hanley?
In the simplest terms, that back four has done very well in the last 3 or 4 games. So why change it? And I don't think it's anything more complicated than that. And Grant Hanley, time and again, I've watched him, you thought, oh, wait a minute, you've not been playing regularly with your team. You're getting on a little bit in comparison to some of the others. Maybe you should be rested. And then he's had a cracker of a game. I think that's what Stevie Clarke's thinking, and that's what he's expecting today.
Well, he's joined the Scotland attack as we've got a free kick here on the right-hand side, swept in by Gilmour. It's not a bad ball, it's nodded back the way, but the referee spotted an infringement inside the Greek penalty area, and so it will be a free kick to the host. 90 seconds played here. It is Greece 0, Scotland 0.
Intriguing to see the way the Greeks started the game. Scotland tried to hold the ball, and a couple of kind of almost cynical fouls straight through the back of the Scotland players, as if to say, right, we'll see what you're made of. Are you up for this tonight? Well, I suspect the Scotland players will be. Interesting to see the way Scotland are lining up. It almost looked like a 4-4-1-1 or a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
Because you're suggesting to McTominay to get as high up the pitch alongside Adams as possible.
Yep, Ferguson playing to the left of the midfield. And here's McGinn on the right-hand side, sweeping up to the halfway line. Ferguson the target, it's over him, but Adams is a good header out to the left-hand side for his captain Robertson. Swings the ball forward in the direction of Ferguson once more, but it's picked up by Greece, who come forward down the right-hand side. It's Masouras, but he's stopped in his tracks by Grant Hanley, out for a throw-in. Deep in Scots territory, which the Greeks take quickly, but in steps Ferguson, knocks it out of play. The Bologna midfielder back to full fitness after a long period out injured, and terrific to see him back fit, playing, and in a Scotland jersey. There are a lot of people have been keen to see him, having really made an impact in Italy. Here come Greece forward, but a good challenge again by Hanley, picked up by McLean midway inside his own half, knocked back by Gilmour to Souttar just inside his own penalty area, and then played to the right once more to Gilmour of Napoli. Brings it up towards the halfway line, unchallenged, looking for options, turns to his right and plays it to Anthony Ralston. Back once more with Gilmour, still inside his own half, then plays it back to Grant Hanley, who's just a few yards outside his penalty area. To his left is Andy Robertson, and then back once more with Hanley. Hanley for Gilmour once more. steps up towards the centre circle but checks back and rolls it back to his goalkeeper Craig Gordon, who immediately leaves it to Grant Hanley. The Greek fans, as you can probably hear in the background, being frustrated by this early Scots possession, not going anywhere, trying to draw the Greeks out. They're still at the edge of their own box. Back to Gordon it goes. He goes long. Ferguson will go and try and win that flick on, but it's well won in the air by Mavropanos of West Ham. Picked up by McTominay on the halfway line. It's Ferguson back the way once more to Andy Robertson. Robertson into Kenny McLean of Norwich, and now McTominay gets it back to McLean. He's caught in possession though. Here comes Masouras down the right hand side for the Greeks, trying to make the first impact in the Scots penalty area. Picked up by Rota outside the penalty area, but Scotland have won it back again. Ferguson gets it to Robertson. His clearance is quite comfortably picked up by Siopis in the midfield, and Greece themselves will try and build an attack as Mavropanos plays it to his central defensive partner Kouliarakis, and then gets it back once more inside the centre circle, out to the right hand side to Rota, and now Masouras of Bochum, the right winger, back to Rota once more. 27-year-old full-back making his 22nd appearance for his country. Down the right once more to Masouras, and now it's Greece's turn to enjoy possession in the defensive area. Mavropanos once more sends it forward. That's a decent looking ball, and Andy Robertson has to scurry back and play it back to Craig Gordon, because Konstantelias, who's playing as the number 10 effectively in that Greece side, he was almost in behind. There's an offside flag up against Greece now, which will give Scotland a free kick. But that was the first sign of any danger, as Konstantelias of PAOK almost made an impact at the back there for Greece.
Yeah, but Andy Robertson read it very, very well. I think Scotland would be delighted with the way they've started again. They had most of the possession in the first 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah, Greece are going to have some of it as well, but there's a real comfort on the ball, and it's particularly when Billy Gilmour gets it, and I think he's a big, big player for Scotland tonight. If they're going to try and calm this Greek team down, they're trying to close Scotland down as much as possible, try and get Gilmour on the ball. Adams has done really well down the left-hand side, plays it back in field to McLean. Now it's Gilmour for his Napoli teammate McTominay. McGinn out on the right-hand side, back to Gilmour, midway inside the Greek half. A poor pass that time from Gilmour, out to the left, all the way out of play over Adams, and it'll be a Greek throw-in about 15 yards from their corner flag as Scotland try and hem the Greeks in. 6 minutes played here. You listen to Sports Sound live on BBC Radio Scotland, and indeed BBC Radio 5 live this evening. Greece 0, Scotland 0. I heard the surprise in your voice when Billy Gilmour played that pass.
Exactly.
You do not see that very often, because he's usually so reliable holding on to the ball. I think he was shocked as well. We tried the old look down, saying it was a bobble, but in the modern pitches you don't get many of them. It's a good looking surface out there, you'd have to say, at the home here of Olympiacos, where Rangers visited recently on Europa League duty, emerged with a creditable draw. I think Scotland would probably take that 1-1 scoreline if you offered them right now, Pat. Yeah, but I know it's Stevie Clarke. We had them chat before the game, and he was saying really positively they're going to have a go at it. And just by the way Scotland have started, they're certainly not going to hang back here. And I think Stevie Clarke he would take a draw, but he wants more. Hanley penalised for wrapping his arms around Ioannidis, the striker, and the Greeks have a free kick which has been taken. They're just inside the Scottish half as Rota plays it back the way though to Mavropanos. Pretty regular with West Ham, having joined from Stuttgart a couple of summers ago. Here he is once more, right in the halfway line, plays it to his left. It's Kouliarakis of Wolfsburg. Mavropanos once more, out to his right hand side for Rota. Rota gets it back once more from Masouras, and then back again to Mavropanos, who's midway inside his own half. Just like Scotland were doing, the Greeks trying to entice Scotland forward before they can spring into attack themselves. It's Konstantelias of PAOK, the 22-year-old, promising young midfielder, and now picking up on that left-hand side, it's Tsimikas of Liverpool, well known to all our listeners, has played into the Scotland box.
Across goes John Souttar to try and track the run there of Ioannidis, and he's actually shepherded the ball out of play. Ioannidis couldn't keep it in, and it's out for a Scotland goal kick. 8.5 minutes on the clock. Greece 0, Scotland 0.
And it's very, very clear these are two incredibly well matched sides. There is not a lot between these two sides, playing kind of similarly as well. And it is those sorts of games where you're expecting either the odd mistake or the odd moment of brilliance is going to make the difference. But at the moment, you know, bit of a stalemate. No great chances really so far for either side.
Indeed. 9 minutes played as Craig Gordon launches the goal kick left-footed over the halfway line up to John McGinn. He can't bring it under control, under pressure there from Tsimikas, who he'll be well acquainted with.
We had a chat before the game about the adaptability of some of the players, and John McGinn's playing as a kind of right winger, and of all his positions that he plays, I think that's the one he's least suited to, and maybe not quite getting the best so far out of John McGinn in that position yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's played a fair bit there from Aston Villa, and Scotland have used him out there, but I do agree he's much more effective in a central position.
Yeah, you need to completely and utterly depend on the amount of service you get when you're out there. And he's not lightning quick and running past players, but you know, the John McGinn, like the rest of the players on this Scottish side, they just muck in. You know, if they're asked to go and do something that's slightly out of the comfort zone, they'll do it.
It's Andy Robertson hoisting the ball forward up to the edge of the Greek penalty area. Adams beaten to it by Mavropanos. McLean tries to cushion it down to Ferguson, who's beaten in the 50-50 by Konstantelias, and then Ferguson makes a challenge on him, and Konstantelias has stayed down, but there's no free kick, rightly so. Took plenty of the ball as McTominay picks up right hand side. Ralston makes the run ahead of him on the angle of the box, right hand side. Still Konstantelias is grounded as McGinn plays a poor ball into the box, and the goalkeeper collects before any Scotland attackers can get there. Konstantelias slowly picking himself up, but the referee wasn't interested in the claims for a foul there by Lewis Ferguson, and the goalkeeper just wondering, is he supposed to kick the ball out of play, or is Konstantelias going to be okay to continue? And the answer is the latter, as Solakis of Olympiacos, the goalkeeper, on just his second cap. I think you were surprised at that part, as I was, that he was selected, but he's getting his chance here in this big game as Greece come forward through Rota from the right back position for Masouras now on the right hand side, back in field to Rota, but 30 yards from goal, out to advance, and then plays it infield. Chance here potentially for Greece, but McGinn steps in and gets it to Adams midway inside the Scotland half. A poor pass there from Adams, but McGinn, as he so often does, uses his physicality to keep a hold of possession and brings Scotland forward, and then McTominay's fouled, and you can hear the reaction in the Greek fans. They already feel that's 2 or 3 decisions gone against them.
Yeah, they do that, but they're absolutely 100% wrong. Konstantelias went down there and laid down for about a minute on the ground. There was a square root of nothing wrong with him. He was acting, he was cheating, nothing more than that. Referee's done a great job there. Let's hope he continues through the game, not falling for that and not falling for the pressure he's been put on. Hey, I don't blame the fans for it, that's their job, but it was an absolute nonsense. There was nothing wrong with it.
Great switch of play by McGinn here for Robertson, advancing towards the Greek box. Comes away from Masouras, back the way to Kenny McLean, midway inside Greek territory. A lovely ball back to Robertson, crossing opportunity, low ball in, cut out by Mavropanos at the near post, away by Rota, only as far as Gilmore, back out to the left, too much on it again from Gilmore, though Robertson can't keep it in. That's a couple that have gone astray from the Napoli midfielder in the early stages here. 12 minutes in, Greece 0, Scotland 0.
Oddly enough, Billy Gilmore does look a little bit rusty, you know. Two passes that normally he'd pick out easily, almost without looking, but very interesting to see for Scotland that Andy Robertson getting up the pitch the way he does when it is very, very best, and that time one super cross in. Sadly no Scotland players there at the near post to get it.
Yeah, Billy Gilmore has come back into the Napoli squad, started the last 3 for the second place side, including the 0-0 draw with Venezia on Sunday, having been used pretty sparingly since about November, but he shouldn't be rusty, certainly, having started those 3 games, but not quite the accuracy with the passes we've come to expect from the former Chelsea man. There's Mavropanos out to the left-hand side to Kouliarakis, brings it up to the halfway line before firing it forward, looking for Masouras. might just be in behind Grant Hanley. There he goes down just inside the penalty area. No contact from Grant Hanley as Ferguson keeps the ball in on this near side, but I just thought Hanley had let him get wrong side, took a chance there. Again, the referee deciding in Scotland's favour that there was nothing in the challenge, causing Masouras to go down inside the box. The ball's still in play and it's in the air as Gilmour and McTominay pick up in the middle of the park. Now it's back with Souttar. Hanley now midway inside his own half. Robertson back to Hanley and then back to Craig Gordon, the goalkeeper, up to the halfway line. He sends it. Rota gets the header in ahead of Lewis Ferguson. Now it's back with Robertson midway inside his own half. Forward for Ferguson. No foul on that occasion, says the referee. Wags his finger to indicate that as the ball's played forward, but to no avail for Greece, and Craig Gordon comes out to collect and immediately bowls it out as Scotland tries to come forward. 0-0 after 14 minutes as Hanley picks up possession midway inside his own half. Now it's Gilmour edging forward, good pass into the feet of McGinn, and now it's Ferguson, spins 360 inside the centre circle and then leaves it to McLean. It's not a great ball to McGinn, who had to stretch, tried to force it out to his left hand side to Andrew Robertson. No chance he was ever going to get onto that, and it's out for a Greek throw-in just down in front of us midway inside the Greek half. Played down the right hand side. Masouras is in behind Andy Robertson here just at the edge of the area, gets it back here on the right hand side. It's a lovely ball to the back post. Good defending from Ralston. Still a danger, not entirely clear. Then the ball is knocked away from John Souttar as the Greeks again howl for a penalty. Never any danger of it being one, but all of a sudden after 15 minutes Scotland are under a little bit of pressure there.
A little bit of pressure, didn't lead to a chance. Ralston, absolutely magnificent defending there. He was completely blind to what was happening behind him, but he knew he had to get his body in there just in case. He did that, made sure there wasn't an opportunity for Solis, who was running in there at pace. Very noticeable though, the Greeks. They really believe in the striker Ioannidis going long really early on. He's 6'2", but they believe in his pace as well. Either that or they don't believe in the pace of the Scottish centre backs.
Yep, that's one to keep an eye on certainly. Quarter of an hour played here in Athens. Greece 0, Scotland 0 in this Nations League A playoff. Greece trying to get into League A, having finished second in England's group. Scotland finished third in League A, above Poland, who they beat in the final game. And an opportunity to ensure they spend another campaign in the top tier, which is very much what they're keen to do. Scotland in possession inside their own half, not in a particular hurry. I should mention actually, there are 7 players and they're all in the starting lineup for Scotland who are on yellow cards coming into this one. I was actually under the impression that the yellow cards from the Nations League themselves would be wiped out coming into this playoff, but it's not the case. And so we've got Ralston, Robertson, McTominay, Hanley, McGinn, Gilmour and McLean all in a tightrope. If they get booked in this one, they will miss the second leg at Hampden. I think there's 4 players in the Greek starting lineup in the same position. Solis, Konstantelias, Tsimikas and Siopis. Was a chance potentially here for Scotland on the right hand side. Ferguson almost in behind and the ball's knocked out for a corner kick though, and the Scots will send Hanley and Souttar forward as they look to make the breakthrough. 17 minutes gone, Greece 0, Scotland 0.
Well, brilliant blindside run there by Lewis Ferguson. He found it hard to get into the match. Look at the play. Has kind of passed him by, not through his own fault at all. But his blindside run there between the right centre back and the right full back wasn't spotted at all. Keeper came out, looked a little bit nervous. It was a half a chance, but he's ended up with a corner. And Scotland have been very dangerous over the last couple of years from corner kicks. Yeah,
let's see what they can make from this one. Right hand side for Andy Robertson, the Scotland captain. Left-footed Liverpool fullback goes out and swings it into the 6-yard box, but it's a comfortable take, that one, for Salakis. No Scotland player near him as he rose inside his 6-yard box, and immediately Greece tried to come forward on the counter. It's Solis popping up on the right hand side, plays it into the middle of the park for Siopis, and now forward comes Rota into the Scotland half. It's Tsimikas finding himself on the right wing just for a moment, plays it infield to his captain Mantalos. And Greece pick up on the left-hand side now as Mantalos takes possession once more. Greece don't seem to be in a particular hurry to get forward either. Both sides really just eyeing each other up, just trying to find where the weak points might be. But very, very evenly matched so far.
I think they're cancelling each other out to a large degree, and that's understandable. But the way they are, it's the one ball through that Solis hasn't got enough pace to get on the end of. But I think that was the expectation before this game, and even the people I was talking to, the Greeks I was talking to beforehand, they felt the same way about it. The Scotland, there's certain players Scotland have to get on the ball, as I say, have to make sure they can control some of the play through. Gilmour, that's part of it. But you want to try and get the very best out of the players like McTominay, who's had very little to do, and he's been very important for Scotland of late.
Hanley under a bit of pressure, tries to find a teammate, doesn't succeed in doing so, but Ferguson digs him out of a hole, and Scotland pick up once more, and now it's Gilmour up towards the halfway line, out to Celtic's Ralston on the right hand side. He's not featured all that often for Celtic of late, but he started now 11 in a row for the national team. As Kenny McLean now has it, but 10 yards inside his own half, up to Gilmour, who tries to clip it forward for Adams, can't find him. And Greece pick up once more through Rota, who sends it over to Tsimikas, who's immediately under pressure now from McGinn over on that far side, the Greek left. They get it forward, but they've coughed up possession to McLean, and now it's McTominay midway inside the Greek half, picking up possession. 20 minutes in almost, with no goals as yet in Athens, as McTominay's caught late there by Mantalos. Scotland still in possession, and so the referee allows play to continue. McTominay back on his feet and back in possession. Leaves it back the way to Hanley. Not a classic encounter thus far, as both sides struggle to create chances. McTominay's lost out. Adams trying to work hard, and he's managed to win possession back and gets it to Robertson midway inside Greece territory. Now it's McTominay, middle of the park. Ralston's out to his right hand side, still McTominay. Now it's Ralston in line with the penalty area, out on that right flank, coming in towards the angle of the box, sends it in on the left foot. Mavropanos, I beg your pardon, heads it away, out for a throw into Scotland over on the far side.
You wouldn't say by the way that Scotland are playing here and against the Greeks, they look like the away side. They're certainly not sitting back. They're probably a little bit more of the play than the Greeks. There's not much in it, it has to be said. There's a real confidence about this Scotland group just now. They've just won the second corner kick there, and when they lose the ball, they're very quick at closing the Greeks down, and as you explained before, they cough up possession quite easily. So at the moment I'm looking down at those benches, and I think Stevie Clarke will be the happier manager.
21 minutes in, as Andy Robertson trots out, as Pat says, to take another corner, and let's hope this one's a better delivery, more incisive one. We've lost Austin McPhee, of course, the set-piece coach, as Robertson lines this one up, again swings it, and again the keeper comes out very similar, and another good take from Solakis, and that will help his confidence actually. As I say, it's just his second appearance, his first competitive one for his country. By all accounts, he's been in good form for Olympiacos, as the ball's played up to Ioannidis in the edge of the Scotland penalty. He gets out to the left-hand side. Greece looking to create something themselves. It's Ioannidis from the angle of the box. Good block in there from Ralston, as McGinn picks up, as it ricochets out of the Scotland box, and now it's McTominay up to the halfway line to Gilmour. Gilmour just slightly left of centre. Adams out to his left. Here he is, the Torino forward. Comes in off the left-hand side. You hear the boos from the home fans. Don't like to see the Scots in possession as they look to build here through Ferguson and Gilmour. Ferguson out to the left-hand side for Robertson, who's trying to lose that disappointment from the weekend at losing the League Cup final. Pokes it back to Gilmour. Gilmour into the box. McTominay brings it down 15 yards from goal, tries to side-foot it towards goal, blocked by Mavropanos, and Greece emerge in possession. Get it up to Ioannidis on the halfway line. Hanley just holds him up, and it's back now with Rota. We're at the midway point in the first half. No clear-cut chances for either side, and as a result, no goals as yet here in Athens. Picked up in the middle of the park by the Greek side. Konstantelias coming deep to pick up possession, and now it's Mantalos of AEK Athens, the 33-year-old, captaining the side tonight. Rota out to Yorgos Basouras, the right winger, plays it forward for Ioannidis, forced out to the right-hand side. Hanley keeping an eye on him. Back now with Rota just inside the Scotland half, and Ioannidis picks up possession once more. Fires a dangerous-looking ball in. It's knocked away initially by Ralston, and then helped on by Andy Robertson, just out of play on this near side. It'll be a Greek throw about 20 yards or thereabouts from the corner flag on the right-hand side. And the scoreline remains Greece 0, Scotland 0.
One of the problems that Scotland have got just now, although having more of the ball, look very comfortable on it, they're closing down very well, they, probably slightly the better team. The Greeks have players that want to break lines, and that's the difference. Mazouras wants to get beyond the back line, Solis wants to do it, and Ioannidis wants to do it. Scotland really haven't got that many players that are going long behind. I think Ferguson's tried to do it once. They need a little bit more of that, not being able to get the likes of McTominay into those positions yet. And I would suggest is maybe the only area where Stevie Clarke will be disappointed just now.
Another scoreline the Scots might be keeping an eye on this evening is that one between Denmark and Portugal, the quarter-final of the Nations League. And that's because the loser of that tie goes into Scotland's World Cup group. It's currently 0-0. The first leg is in Copenhagen. So 0-0 in that one, the same time more or less, 24 minutes into the match. And just also to point out, I just was showing the stats says Scotland have enjoyed more possession in these opening stages than home side, but neither team really been able to penetrate the opposition defence as yet. As Mavropanos picks up possession and fires a long diagonal looking for Tsimikas. It's a difficult ball to bring under control, and there's too much on it, and it's out of play over on the far side. Scotland have taken the throw in quickly. It's Ralston back to Suter, who's impressive against Celtic at the weekend, and generally speaking has been very good for Rangers as a mainstay at the back when he's been fit. Christian Eriksen incidentally missed a penalty for Denmark in that game I just mentioned between Denmark and Portugal, the first leg of the quarter-final, as Craig Gordon knocks it up into the midfield for McTominay out to Robertson, still midway inside his own half, back the way goes to Hanley, and Craig Gordon once more at the edge of his 6-yard box, under pressure, gets it back out to the left-hand side. Hanley dips a shoulder and plays it very calmly infield to Kenny McLean. It's great football from Scotland. It's a little bit nervy watching it, Pat Nevin, but you have to say they played their way out from the back brilliantly. However, they have lost possession here, and it's Constantelius trying to come forward. Again, he goes down very easily. The referee's having none of it. Scotland have possession back. McTominay just touches it to Gilmour, crossing the halfway line. Adams trying to hold his run on the right-hand side. I think he managed to do so. Here he is looking for McTominay, and Mavropanos was in the middle to knock it behind for another Scotland corner.
I'm really interested to see if the referee pulls his yellow card out there. It was absolutely disgraceful. Constantelius again, second time in a row, throwing himself on the ground. Nothing wrong with him. Referee's gone over and had a word there, sort of digging him up about it, and absolutely rightly so. Total dive to the ground there, unacceptable play.
Another corner to Scotland then, same side. Andy Robertson's delivered a couple and they've gone straight into the keeper's arms so far. Let's see if he can do better on this occasion, whether we can get a Scotland head to one of these deliveries. You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Radio 5 Live with Al Lamont and Pat Nevin out in Athens, where it's Greece 0, Scotland 0.
You can't do that again. Cannot give the goalkeeper again, because the defenders have to sprint to get back. You'd rather do a short corner than give the keeper an easy one.
Here he comes again. Robertson's just a bit further out this time. Might come to McTominay, can't quite get the shot cleanly. There he does. Oh, it's wide a goal. McTominay grounded, managed to get the shot in second time around, but it's squeezed wide, and it remains Greece 0, Scotland 0.
I just wonder if the referee had blown his whistle beforehand. Ball was on the ground. I'm not sure what any Scotland player had done wrong there at all, but when people end up on the ground, sometimes the referees blow. But I certainly can't. We've got a monitor here, and we've seen a couple of little replays. I cannot see a thing that Scott McTominay's done wrong there.
There's a bit of pulling there, actually, as McTominay does go to ground.
As my fifth angle, you're right.
Yeah, by McTominay. There's also some suggestions there might have been a handball in there, but anyway, that's the closest we've come to any real action inside either penalty area, and Scotland threatening for the first time really. 27.5 minutes gone, and it's Greece 0, Scotland 0. McTominay sending one just wide. So often a threat for the national team in recent years, as Gilmour has it and gets it to John McGinn. Right hand side is Ralston, and now it is McTominay on the right touchline up against Tsimikas. He plays it forward for McGinn to chase. Across comes Kouliarakis, but McGinn gets there ahead of him, almost at the corner flag on the right hand side, and it's just played off the Greek defender. Still just 21, the Wolfsburg player, making his 12th appearance. Scotland get the throw in. It's Gilmour from the right hand side, looking for Ferguson, comes back to Gilmour. McGinn helps it to Ralston, low ball in, might just fall behind Lewis Ferguson. Greece can't get it clear though. Gilmour gets it to McGinn, right hand side, and now it's Ralston once more for John McGinn of Aston Villa. Swings it in towards the back post. Robertson's there, knocks it back across the 6-yard box, or tries to. There was a Greek player, Rota, in the way. Comes back to Robertson though, swings it in, out comes the keeper to the edge of the 6-yard box. Salakis claims comfortably and bulbs it out over arm to Konstantelias, crossing the halfway line. Here comes Greece on the counter. Can they catch the Scots cold? Into the box comes Ganidis, and can't get a clean shot away. Greece still looking to shepherd the ball out of play for a corner kick. That's what they think it should be. The officials think otherwise. The assistant referee in this near side points for the goal kick, and it remains Greece 0, Scotland 0.
Yeah, you're talking about the fact there had not been many clear-cut chances. It's not a bad game though. I mean, there is end-to-end now and again. The Greeks are playing on the break. They are very good at that. Those three players I mentioned before have got pace and enjoy playing on the break. Scotland have got more of the play. They just need that little final ball there. But the game is pretty much end to end, and it's played in a fairly good spirit most of the time, other than one or two dives from one or two Greek players. But yeah, it's been a good game. I do think the attitude of the Scottish midfield, they're biting into tackles and getting close. That is something that you've got to do when you're playing away from home, so that you can get that little bit of breathing space once you get to Hampden Park on Sunday afternoon.
The thoughts there of former Scotland international Pat Nevin alongside me in the commentary box. Half an hour in, Greece 0, Scotland 0. Off the ball to follow this programme on BBC Radio Scotland. Join Stuart Cosgrove and Tam Cowan alongside Ray Bradshaw, and you can get in touch with them and give them your thoughts on this evening's encounter and Scotland's chances in the second leg at Hampden on Sunday. Live coverage of that also on Sportsound as Scott McTominay picks up on the edge of the box, tries to get past the Greek defender. He's got there, it's a penalty to Scotland. Didn't look clear cut to me, and it will be reviewed by the VAR, but the referee has pointed to the spot as McTominay goes down just inside the box, and Scotland might yet get a big chance here to take the lead.
Do you know what? It's a really close call. The VAR must look at this. My first thought was very much like yours. I thought McTominay slipped slightly. I think McTominay actually fouls the opponent. I honestly think that's the case. If you have a look at this, McTominay goes for the ball, hits the player, hits the ball and goes through and hits the player. I do not think this penalty kick will stand. I really don't.
Yeah, I tend to agree, Pat. Having looked at these replays that we're seeing here, I think McTominay makes contact with Rota's foot. And
you called it right away. When you're doing the commentary, you weren't certain about it. I have to say, I wasn't certain. We're in a very good position here. We're down towards that end of the ground. We'll have lots and lots of angles, which you should have. But for me, almost every angle shows the same thing.
The only thing I would say about this, Pat, is there enough in it for VAR to overturn it? Is it a clear and obvious error?
Well, there's contact. There's contact. But I'll tell you right now, we're going to be fair-minded this, and I'm going to be fair-minded about this. I'd be stunned, and he's going to give it. I'm not going to argue with him.
No.
But I have to say, Scotland are very, very fortunate to get a penalty kick here.
Well, there's no sign, certainly, that the referee is being called across to have another look at it. We don't have VAR in our ear, which we sometimes do in these occasions, but so I'm not entirely sure what the communication is between the officials. But at the moment, Scott McTominay is lining up as if he is about to take a penalty kick here in Athens. Listen to the boos round this stadium as Scott McTominay is indeed going to get the chance to give Scotland the lead from the penalty spot. Up he steps and scores! And Scotland have the lead! After 33 minutes in Athens, Scotland get a bit of fortune with the award of the penalty. And Scott McTominay, as he so often does, stays calm and slots it past the goalkeeper to make it Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Well, it's a brilliant penalty kick. I mean, any penalty kick that goes in the net is a brilliant penalty kick. But he sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. He looks utterly calm in the build-up to very noticeable there. He was getting some lasers in his eye. Had no effect whatsoever on Scott McTominay when he put it in the other way. And remember, of course, it was McTominay who won the penalty kick himself. But I will not tell you any lies here, and I'm not just saying it because we're in Greece. I think we're very fortunate as Scots to be getting a penalty kick there. But you take them, some you get, some you don't. 1-0 up, Scotland almost in dreamland.
A 12th international goal for Scott McTominay. I quickly head back to the Glasgow studio where the guys have been watching the replays of the penalty award. What are your thoughts there, chaps? And Leanne, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, we both think along the same lines as Pat. We felt that Scott McTominay was going down early, and if anything, you know, he maybe caught the rota as he went down. So we didn't think in the studio that it was a penalty either, but good fortune, take it and move on.
Just shows you how fair-minded we Scots are. And the Irish, Tom.
Well, Scotland come forward once more. It's Lewis Ferguson on the run, and it's stopped there by the goalkeeper coming right to the edge of his penalty area and clutching that. Lewis Ferguson getting a talking to from the referee.
Do you know what? There's a moment here. We need to calm down Scotland there. Lewis Ferguson, there is nothing to be gained. He's actually right what he's saying to the referee. The foul was given for a touch inside the box, and the keeper tries to steal 2 or 3 yards. Don't anger the referee. Don't give him an excuse just now. He's already thinking, I might have had a blooper there myself. And time to calm it. Don't give him any excuses. Hold on to what you've got there, and if at all possible, try and calm down the game a little bit for a wee while.
So Scotland have the advantage in the Greek capital, and it's a brilliant start. It was really the first opening in the game. There had been no test for either goalkeeper up until that point, but Scott McTominay maybe a little bit fortuitous in terms of the award of the penalty, but absolutely no question about the quality of the strike from 12 yards out, sending the keeper the wrong way right into the side netting to the keeper's left. And Greece coming forward now, looking to try and get back in level terms. 10 minutes to the break. They have it on the left flank, trying to find a way through this well-organised Scots back line. It's played to Rota. Rota out to Masouras, right-hand side. Gets it back once more, the Bochum winger. And it goes to Masouras once more, and then Konstantelius is drifted out to the right-hand side. Picked up now by Siopis. Scotland get every man behind the ball right now. It's a good ball for Solis. He's challenged just on the edge of the box. He's waved to his feet by the German referee. I think it was fractionally outside, but it was an interesting challenge, almost identical, you could say, to the one that was given by Rota on McTominay that led to the penalty award. Here's Konstantelius once more, about 25 yards from goal, trying to find a way to get the shot in. He's curled one, but it's well wide of Craig Gordon's goal. The keeper knew it was going by, and it remains Greece 0, Scotland 1. As we see a replay of that, Pat, it looked like a foul to me.
Yeah, at the moment he's dived in, he's caught him again. You're absolutely spot on there. I have to say, I thought he was diving. Well, he did dive after the touch, but there is a connection there. But, you know, they're their own worst enemies, the Greek players, because there's been so much diving early on with no contact, which the German referee spotted. He's got an attitude towards some of the Greek players. And it's your own fault. Don't dive about. I honestly wish if a referee just pulls out a card for a dive at some point, it'll stop. And by the way, I'd say that about 99% of games.
It's refreshingly strong refereeing, you would have to say, with the home crowd, very partisan as you'd expect. But he's not fallen for any of the Greek tricks thus far, albeit that wasn't a trick. That should have been a foul to them on the edge of the Scotland penalty area. So Scotland have got the benefit of at least a couple of decisions, we feel, in the last few minutes, not least the penalty award. But we'll absolutely take it right now. 7.5 minutes to the break. Greece 0, Scotland 1. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Radio 5 Live coverage of the Nations League League A playoff first leg, second leg to come on Sunday at Hampden. as Koulirakis brings Greece forward just inside the Scotland half. Greece have toiled to really create any clear-cut opportunities. Adams goes to ground, referee again wags the finger to say no free kick, and forward comes Konstantelis up to the edge of the penalty. It's a good ball in, met by the head of Ioannidis, who is a towering striker, but he couldn't climb high enough to head that one on target, and it heads high over the crossbar of Craig Gordon, and it remains Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Scotland will be put under a little bit of pressure now. You'd absolutely expect that. And right now, they've pushed forward a little bit. Scotland will have to play in the break just a little bit more. I would say one thing about one player, Scotland. We've not mentioned Che Adams a little bit. I think he's been fantastic in this game. His hold-up play's been superb. He's under a lot of pressure, but his link and his hold-up has been really special and got Scotland up the park. And as I say that, it's exactly the same thing again.
Yeah, finds McGinn, and Gilmour goes down, but Scotland still in possession, back in their own half. Just over 6 minutes to the break. Scotland leading by a Scott McTominay penalty to 0. It's his first goal in 5 internationals. We've become accustomed almost to him scoring more regularly than that. Suter makes a brilliant break out of defence, then goes back the way though to Ralston. He did get a couple in the Nations League, McTominay, after a brilliant European qualifying campaign, 7 goals in 8 Euro qualifiers, and he has continued that scoring streak this evening in Athens, the only goal of the game so far.
He's not bad in Serie A either. It's a really good run for Napoli for a player, you know, he wasn't noted beforehand as being a goal scorer, but moving a little bit further forward, and he's dangerous.
Absolutely, 7 goals in 28 for Napoli since the move there in the summer, as Suter plays it forward to McGinn, who goes down, not fouled in the referee's views. Greece pick up on the edge of the box, and it's a poor effort there from Masouras onto the left foot from about 25 yards out, but well off target. 5 minutes until the interval. Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Yeah, that time John McGinn goes down. I think he goes down far too easily there. Shouldn't be doing that now, no need to do that, but that's part of John McGinn's game, isn't it? He wants to hold up players, but if you're not strong enough and you don't time it right, you can end up being broken, and that's what happened there.
Here's McGinn hitting the deck again. This time he does get the free kick for the attentions of Tsimikas, who played all in the Nations League apart from the win at Wembley. A remarkable win that was, 2-1. They beat England, and a terrific occasion that was for the Greeks. But the man who scored both goals on that one, the Benfica, prolific striker for Benfica, but left on the bench tonight, Pavlidis, and he certainly hasn't, generally speaking, been as impressive for his country as he has for Benfica. Nonetheless, a player of that goal-scoring record from this season has been left out. There's another challenge, goes in the edge of the box from Scotland, then a shot comes in. The referee again allowing play to continue as Mantalos claimed for the penalty, getting right on the edge. Let's have another look at this one, Pat.
Well, that looked tight there. If there was a touch, I think there's a touch there. Again, it was outside,
just outside
the box,
isn't it?
So they're not going to go back and look at that. But you know, in that game, you do it. Having said that, I'm going to change my mind on that just now. Yes, there was contact, but it was initiated by Mantalos. He stuck his leg out there to take the hit.
Here comes Scotland. McGinn, third has some goal, slips it to Gilmour. Big chance for Gilmour. Good challenge though to send it behind. And indeed, it's going to be a
corner kick he's looking for, wasn't it?
Should be a corner kick, I would imagine. The referee has held his hand up as if to say, I think just hold on, because there was a check going on, I imagine. Yeah, he's hearing something in his ear. It didn't look to be a foul, but it did look to be a big chance for Scotland there. Oh no, he just skews his shot wide, doesn't he?
It's such a poor shot by Billy Gilmour there. He must have thought something was wrong. There was a little nudge, but it was long after the ball was away, and I think that would be even harsher than the first penalty if Scotland got that one. So I don't think they'll get this.
Well, as Richard was saying pre-match, he's not a prolific goal scorer, Billy Gilmour. He has got a couple for his country. I don't think he's ever scored a club goal. But
you could see why there,
yeah,
let's be honest
absolutely.
about it. That was awful. He got himself into a great position. That was a great opportunity.
Scotland have pinched possession. She Adams, oh, he should have scored. The keeper gets back just in time, but Shea Adams should have given him absolutely no chance after Greece gave the ball away in a terrible position into Adams inside the penalty area, and he's snapshot straight at the keeper when really he should have been making it 2-0 Scotland.
He could have taken a touch. He definitely could have taken a touch. He's turned on it. I suppose he doesn't know what's behind him. There's nothing behind him, absolutely nothing. He takes another touch. He goes within 7 or 8 yards of the goal, and it's a tap in for him. Yeah, the keeper's there, but that's 2 brilliant chances for Scotland in the last minute or 2.
Oh, absolutely. That could have been so much better for Scotland, but it is 1-0 to the Scots here in Athens as half-time approaches. Greece in possession, but 2 massive opportunities for Scotland in front of goal in the last couple of minutes, but Gilmour and then Adams passing them up when really both should have done better. And Scotland could realistically have been heading in at least 2 goals up. As it is, they will very much take the 1-goal advantage if indeed that's how it turns out, as Kouliarakis picks up on the halfway line and is all the way back to the goalkeeper on the edge of the penalty area, out to Mavropanos. Now out to the right-hand side to Rota. Gets it back once more from Masouras, and Rota then finds Konstantelius over on the right-hand side, back with Rota on the halfway line. Greece failing to test Craig Gordon in these opening 45 minutes, which are almost up. Keep an eye on the injury time that's going to be added on as Tony Ralston goes back towards his own goal. He's under pressure there, and he's ended up just putting it straight into the feet of a Greek player in the middle of the park, but it's a poor pass forward, and Craig Gordon easily able to gather that and then feeds Andy Robertson. Forward looking for Adams. It's 1-0 by Mavropanos, but it falls kindly for McGinn. McGinn advancing towards the edge of the box. Picked a brilliant pass for Gilmour last time he was in such a position. Here's Adams now, right hand side, goes for a goal, not too far away. Good clean strike from Shea Adams, but a yard or 2 wide of the far post, and it remains Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Yeah, but that's another great chance there for Scotland. The Greeks are having to take a chance now because they're a goal down. They've got the whole leg here. They need to get back into the game, but the gaps they're leaving are huge. With 2 extra minutes just about to be added just now, those gaps are leaving at the back. McTominay's finding areas in there, Gilmour's finding areas in there, as is John McGinn as well. If Scotland keep on playing like this, they can score another goal.
As it is, Scotland lead by 1 with 30 seconds of the 2 minutes to be added on already passed. The Greek home fans try to rouse their side. Haven't been able to get a shot in anger off on Craig Gordon's goal as Ralston tries to clear the danger. Konstantelius can't bring the ball under control. McTominay's there to take it off him. Robertson now to Ferguson, tries to force it forward under pressure from Rota. Greece have won it back. It's Rota advancing up to the edge of the penalty area. He's caught there by Ferguson, and that will be a free kick just about 22 yards from goal. It's a yellow card for Lewis Ferguson, one of the few Scots players not on a yellow going into this match, and so it will be just a free kick to Greece, but it's in a promising position at the very end of this first period.
You know what? I don't even think it's a foul, never mind a yellow card. He just left his leg in there deliberately. It's one of those ones where he's looking for the free kick. He's left his leg in there deliberately. And you need to be clever in those sort of situations. Don't dive in, don't give the referee a question to answer there. But it's a free kick, it's in a dangerous area, and this is, to be fair, what the Greek team have been looking for all the way through this game.
Tsimikas has come across, it's just right of centre, 24 yards from goal. There's a 4-man Scotland wall just inside the penalty area as Tsimikas and I think Solis stand over at the right foot of Solis or the left of Tsimikas. It will be Tsimikas to curl one just onto the roof of the net. Craig Gordon dived, not sure he was going to get there, had it just stepped under the crossbar, but the Liverpool defender couldn't hit the target, and it remains Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Yeah, well, Craig Gordon will argue with that. It would suggest that he thinks he was getting there, but you're absolutely spot on. It was a very, very decent looking free kick. It was dipping down, just not quite dipping enough there, and Scotland can breathe again.
Goal kick then to Scotland. We've gone beyond the 2 minutes initially added on at the end of this first half. Scotland leading by Scott McTominay, penalty to 0. And there goes the half-time whistle. With Scotland being the more threatening side, and they have got the breakthrough. After 31 minutes, McTominay was challenged by Lazarus Rota inside the penalty area. It looked to us as though McTominay actually initiated the contact inside the area, but the referee pointed to the spot. He wasn't asked to come over and review it by VAR, and so the penalty stood, and McTominay made absolutely no doubt as he sent the ball beyond Konstantis Salakis in the goal to give Scotland the lead. There then came a flurry just before half-time of massive Scotland opportunities to add to their advantage, but Gilmour sent a shot wide from a great position. Adams shot straight at the keeper when he should have hit the back of the net, and then Adams once more on 45 minutes firing just wide, having been set up by McGinn. And then just in the stroke of half-time, Costa Tsimikas of Liverpool sent a free kick from just outside the box onto the roof of the net. Greece's best opportunity, but they couldn't hit the target. And so at half-time in Athens, it's Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Scotland in the UEFA Nations League.
It's absolutely brilliant from Scotland!
This is Sports Sound
From BBC Radio Scotland.
When titans clash, when there's no love lost between the teams, when it's the match you've all been waiting for.
I can't look.
Wait.
How did he do that?
Nothing brings us together like great TV. And a TV licence covers you to watch all TV channels, so you can share in the excitement of all sorts of sports. It also funds everything you love from the BBC, including iPlayer and live radio, like this.
I didn't realise that was the end of the trail. This is indeed Sports Sound. We are live here on BBC Radio Scotland, and a very acceptable scoreline at half-time of Greece 0, Scotland 1. Elsewhere in the playoffs, half-time in most of these matches, Ukraine 0, Belgium 1. Romelu Lukaku with his 86th international goal. It's Austria 1, Serbia 0. Gregoric with a goal in the 37th minute in that one. Kosovo and Iceland are 1 apiece. It's Bulgaria 1, Republic of Ireland 2. Bulgaria were ahead early in that one, but Finn Azaz with the equaliser. Matt Doherty put the Irish in front 3 minutes before half-time. Slovenia and Slovakia are 0-0, and it's Turkey 3, Hungary 1 full-time. And also full-time, Armenia 0, Georgia 3. In the quarter-finals, it's Netherlands 1, Spain 1. Nico Williams with the early goal for Spain, cancelled out by Cody Gakpo. Wow, Croatia 2-0 up now against France. Kramaric had a goal ruled out early on, but Budimir and then Perisic with the goals there. So the Croatians 2-0 up against France in their quarter-final. It's Denmark 0, Portugal 0. Christian Eriksen having a penalty saved by Diego Costa in that one, but goalless. And remember, the losers of that eventual tie will go into Scotland's World Cup qualifying group, and it's Italy 1, Germany 0. Sandro Tonali with the only goal so far in that one. Well, Scotland's ahead at half-time by 1 goal. It could have been 3-0 ahead, I suppose, Willie Miller. After what was a very solid, fairly quiet, fairly run-of-the-mill opening 25 minutes or so, it all kind of came to life, didn't it?
Yeah, in a positive way for Scotland.
Yeah.
But big question marks, Richard, on the penalties or not.
Yeah.
You know, it looks as though McTominay's actually stretching for the ball. I think he's trying to wrap his the outside of his right foot round it. He's going down. You know, he's already going down.
He's kind of slipped, hasn't he?
Yeah, and Rota's come in, and it's barely he's just tried to, I think, like just pinch the ball, but the way that McTominay's put his leg the other side of the ball towards the defender, there's minimal contact, but he's already on his way down, and he's not in any control of the ball either. So listen, why doesn't VAR get involved in that? I don't know. We'll take it, yeah, and we'll take it all day long. It's a good break for Scotland, yeah, and then they've had 2 great opportunities, both for Che Adams, and really the first one he should have done much better. You know, poor clearance by the goalkeeper. Why he rushed it clear and that. He had plenty of time, no one near him, and Shea Adams could take a touch. Pat was right in his assessment of it, and it was a weak effort from him. His second opportunity was quite a decent strike, just off target. But we felt that it was an awful frantic game at times, where they barely calmed down to take a breath. Everything was done very quickly, 100 mile an hour, back to front. Scotland had the better of possession, there's no doubt about that. They controlled more of the game in the first half than Greece did. They created the opportunities after the penalty, but not great quality before that, I didn't think, from either team. I think a lot of slack passes, a lot of missed time passes, not accurate passing, didn't link particularly well. Neither team linked particularly well. But listen, it kept it kept your attention, that's for sure, because it was so fast and it was going from one end to the other. But listen, Scotland deserved to be in the lead, I think, after the penalty and the two opportunities that they had, and the fact that they've had more possession and looked the more likely to score.
Constantelius had a shot wide, Tsimikas with that free kick at the end, which was just over the bar, but actually Craig Gordon absolutely had that one covered. There was no issue there, and that's been pretty much it. Over the piece, Leanne, pretty happy with the way Scotland have performed?
Yeah, delighted, Richard. I think there's been a lot of energy put into the game. It's nice to see a Scotland side coming out and looking to win games, getting after the game. It's been very transitional, as Willie's mentioned. I think both sides, it's broken down at points when they've looked to try and get from A to B, just perhaps a little bit too quickly. It's a bit of cat and mouse at points, certainly, and it felt like it was just going one end to the other. But I think Scotland have certainly had far more control in the game. I think when you look at the stats across the board, I think the only one that I've looked at that I've seen that Scotland have not come out on top is aerial duels. They've only won 25% of them, but I'm not that interested in the aerial duels. The XG for Scotland is a good one at 1.49 and Greece down at 0.4, so I'll be delighted if it stays like that in the second half and Greece don't get a sniff. I think Scotland have been pretty dominant. They look as if they're enjoying the game plan and the way they've set up and with the personnel. Billy Gilmour certainly getting a good space as well, and just without that slight nudge at his back, maybe would have get the shot on target, but it probably just shows you that Billy Gilmour's not that used to being in those types of positions as well, not expecting the contact as he enters the box. But Scotland have certainly had chances. It's been enjoyable. It has been an enjoyable game to watch, as I say, because it's nice to see two teams getting after it. Greece certainly far too theatrical, and Pat's nailed them in commentary, which is absolutely grand to hear. But no, you just don't want to see that at this level of the game, trying to con the referee. Scotland have obviously come out on top with the penalty. I've watched hundreds of VAR moments in the last number of seasons, and if I was going to call that on a Saturday on Sports Sound, Richard, I would have definitely assumed that it would have been overturned. But Scotland coming out on top and favourable with that decision.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm really surprised that VAR, having had a look at that, decided just to ratify the referee's decision. Perhaps the feeling was it wasn't a clear and obvious error, but it just did not look like a penalty, and we have certainly benefited from that. There were the Adams chances. I mean, the first one is just a lack of awareness, isn't it? He's got so much time to actually pick his spot, but he goes first time and hits it straight at the keeper, Tom. Billy Gilmour, he was under pressure. There was a wee nudge from behind, but you're expecting your player to have a bit more. I mean, I suppose it doesn't help that Billy's the smallest player on the team, so he's probably out-muscled there, but it was maybe just further evidence as to why he has never scored a club goal in his career. Has actually, surprisingly, perhaps got a couple for Scotland.
He just needs to be quicker there. I just thought he was a little bit slow, and he's almost missed the ball. I mean, he's just kind of it's poor. I think it's poor from Gilmour. He needs to do a lot better. Yes, there's a little shove, but he still needs to get a shot.
As you say though, Tom, it's because of the delay, and by the time he goes to pull his leg back to execute the shot, he's in one leg, and that's when the nudge comes, and then he goes down obviously far too easily.
On the just to go back to the penalty, I've spent the last 6-7 weeks watching Scotland's rugby team coming out of the wrong end of some horrendous decisions in the Six Nations. So I'm just smirking to myself here. I say, Scotland, the rugby team were due a bit of luck. It turns out the football team have got it. And,
take it.
Swings and roundabouts. You know, my patience and my tolerance of these things is diminishing all the time, because I see so many bad decisions now, and I'm surprised that was given, but hey, you know, it was, so you move on.
Over the piece, we talked a lot beforehand about whether he would bring Kieran Tierney in, whether he would change to a back three or back five. He's gone with a four. He's gone with the same four now for the last 5 international matches with Craig Gordon behind them. We've seen enough, I think, there, Tom, to suggest that there's a real understanding in that group of defenders.
Yeah, I think Suter's been really, really good. He's having he's just playing terrifically well for his club. He's got a lot of authority tonight. Hanley, you've got to take your hat off to Hanley. It doesn't matter what's happening in his club career. You know, it doesn't matter if he's, you know, playing bits of games here and there at a lower level. He steps up when he plays for Scotland, you know, and I think he's playing pretty well tonight again, against kind of all odds. I mean, he must know that, obviously he knows that Steve Clarke has a massive faith in him, and that instills huge amount of confidence in Hanley. That looks a steady partnership. And the really encouraging thing is that Scotland have got other decent centre halves, like McKenna, a bit unlucky not to play tonight. There's a bit of backup there now.
Yeah, I was actually putting him in mind of Alan Hutton. I mean, I know Hanley's been coming on and getting a few minutes here and there, but Alan Hutton didn't play club football
for like about 3 years.
Like pretty much, yeah, and yet was in there, and I mean, got his 50 caps, and actually did a really fine job. Look, Scotland are in a really strong position right now. Of course, second leg to come at Hampden, 5 o'clock kick-off on Sunday. We've got live second half commentary to come, and then at 10 o'clock it will be Off the Ball. It is Stuart and Tam who will be joined by Ray Bradshaw, and Tam is in the studio to look ahead to it, hoping for a nice happy programme to reflect on the game, Tam.
Absolutely, Richard. Of course, you never know what's going to happen, but as things stand, we'll be looking back at the game. We'll be asking, what does Greece mean to you? That could be a fry-up, it could be John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, just anything. What does Greece mean to you? And we're also, I hope you all noticed, I didn't hear you talking about it, guys, about the laser pen that was in McTominay's face. So we're also asking, maybe it's quite topical in the week of the water bottles, what is the most annoying thing that anybody has ever taken into a football match? Right, was it a laser pen? Was it a vuvuzela? South Africa World Cup? Was it a rattle in Wally Miller's days? It could be anything at all. What is the most annoying thing that has ever been taken into a football match?
I just suddenly had a flashback. There was a Serie A game where somebody had brought a Lambretta in, wasn't it? And they threw it.
Richard, that was a Scotland-Italy game. We were out there, and the Italy ultras, they kind of fall out with each other. There's like different factions, and they dropped a moped for the top tier onto the bottom tier to their own fans that they don't like.
Wasn't it like a pig's head was thrown at Luis Figo, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Luckily, it was intervened by David Cameron, who grabbed it and took it home. But yeah, so we'll get stacks of stuff. I'm looking for a gig with Martin Geisler in the political shows, Tom. But yeah, so the game itself, what does Greece mean to you? And what is the most annoying thing that anybody has ever carried into a football match? Going to be a great show if it stays like this.
Looking forward to it. Tam and Stuart will be joined by Ray Bradshaw. They'll take you through from 10 o'clock until 11:30. It has been a very acceptable first 45 minutes for Scotland. Big chances to increase their leads even further, but they do have that one goal. Scott McTominay scoring from the penalty spot. Took it very well indeed for his 12th international goal. So we will get more, of course, from Willie Miller, Leanne Crichton and Tom English a little bit later. Right now it is time to settle back and enjoy second half commentary from Greece with our commentary team of Pat Nevin and Al Lamont.
Welcome back to Stadio Georgios Karaskakis as the two teams re-emerge for the second half, and Greece are going to make a change, and the change is the introduction of the 17-year-old Kostas Karetsas in place of Georgios Masouras, who had been playing on the right flank. So let's see if that's a straight swab. This young man, a lot expected of him in the future. This is his first time in the squad, his debut this evening as we get back underway. And so Greece hoping that this young wonder kid, who actually represented Belgium at various youth levels, including under-21s, and was on the bench against Scotland under-21 back in October. And he was born in Genk, where he still plays. But he has declared for Greece for the senior national setup, and he's on the pitch now, and it's Greece coming forward on the left flank. Tsimikas gets to the byline, tries to pull it back. In the way, though, was Kenny McLean, who sweeps out to this near side, the Greek left. And I have to tell you, the Steadicam operator just took a wonderful touch there as it was knocked out of play and played it straight to Tsimikas. So I wonder if it might be a call-up awaiting him in the future for the Greece national side.
I'll tell you that is some touch, that. A steady cam. It's hard to walk with these things, knowing where the ball is. That is... well, he's up for man of the match at the moment in time. As I say that, Ferguson's going down. He's got a little hit. Was he caught? Yeah, he was caught, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, Scotland free kick. The steady cam operator getting an applause from the fans just down below us, and a big beaming grin acknowledges that he's quite proud of himself, I think.
Rightly so, absolutely rightly so. I mean, good start from Greece at the start of the second half. I think you expect that. They're going to try and put on as much pressure as they possibly can just now, but Scotland will have to cope with that for the first few minutes.
Here's McGinn going down the right-hand side. He's done really well. He's got into the penalty and then he's dispossessed. There's a Scotland player down off the ball. It's Ralston. As Greece pick up possession, go back to the centre-back Mavropanos. Ralston's in a bit of pain down there. He's not a player who ever stays down for nothing. And back up he gets to his feet. He's booed by the home fans, rather unsportingly.
Well, understandably, because when their players get down, Scotland haven't been putting it out.
No, that's absolutely fair enough. Unless it's a head knock, then I'm all for that playing on.
Yep, me too.
And Greece have possession. A couple of minutes into the second period, the Scots leading by a 1-0, scored by McTominay as the substitute tries to make an impact, but he's skewed his first cross right out of play, not the start he wanted to make to his international career. The young man, 17, Pat, and looking at the monitor, he looks about 13.
Yeah, he does. Actually, very noticeably. That's not a good cross there, but they've given the ball to him immediately. They want him on the ball. They want to see what he can do, because he is a wonder kid. And even though that was a really, really bad cross there into the crowd, this whole place almost stood and applauded him to a man and a woman.
Yeah, he only made his Genk debut at the end of last season, came through the youth system there, but he's made 30 appearances for the Belgian side this season. Here he is in possession, just clips it forward to Ioannidis, where he's lost out, and McGinn picks up on the right-hand side for Scotland. The Scots lead by a 0-0 as Ralston, who looks to have recovered from the knock he took in the challenge with Tsimikas. And then Suter out to the left. It's dummied by Hanley and picked up by Robertson into the feet of Gilmour. Midway inside his own half. It's a poor pass from Gilmour, and that invites Greece forward. Chance here to try and create something. Across comes Ralston on the cover and sweeps out a play away over on the far side. But yeah, I think it was fair to say, Pat, Billy Gilmour's not having his best game in a Scotland jersey.
Yep, you're absolutely right. You have to own up to it immediately. Giving the ball away 3 or 4 times when he would normally never do so. Didn't do so well when he had that opportunity as well. I'll tell you one thing about Billy Gilmour. He won't hide, though. He'll be looking for that ball every single time. He'll trust himself, believe in himself, and want to get on the ball time and again.
Here comes Greece forward from the left-hand side. Kouliarakis for Tsimikas, who's taken up a good advanced position, cuts back onto the right foot, sends the ball into the box. Hanley gets his head to, comes to the substitute Costeras, and that's diverted behind by John Suter as the young man urges the home fans to get to their feet, and you can hear them responding. But it remains Greece nil, Scotland 1, Greece corner.
Yeah, that all came from Billy Gilmour giving the ball away. What Scotland need to do there is try and hold on to the ball, kill it a little bit, slow things down a bit, calm this crowd down a bit, and the opposite happens when you give the ball away in those situations.
Tsimikas has gone out to that right-hand side to swing this corner in from the right flank. The left-footed Liverpool fullback, the referee spotted something inside the 6-yard box that he doesn't fancy.
I'll tell you something about that. I bet you that referee has had a look at half-time at the penalty kick. He will know and probably think he's made a bit of a mistake there. Scotland must be very careful in these situations.
Very vigilant, Simi Castaigne giving the OK to curl the ball in on top of Craig Gordon. It's bouncing about in the 6-yard box, and McGinn takes no chances and heads behind for another corner, this time on the left-hand side, which Tsimikas will come across and take.
Craig Gordon's claiming that he's been, pushed a little bit there, but that happens at every single corner kick in the world.
51 minutes played. Greece nil, Scotland 1 as Tsimikas prepares to send in the corner, left-footed, outswinger and the near post. Craig Gordon scrambling across, didn't get there. The ball's out of play. The ball's in the back of the net, but the assistant referees get the flag up long before it had gone in, and it was quite clearly out of play over on the far side, and it will not stand, although the ball has been slammed into the back of the net. But the Greek celebrations are curtailed very quickly. The German officials in conversation. But it was another clear chance as we watch a replay and just verify that the ball was out of play.
It's not. We can't tell from here. It looks it, but there's no way of telling 100% from the angle we can see it from. We're seeing a different angle here. It's one of those ones that's bouncing. It's curling away back towards.
That's miles out.
That's out.
It was Solis who slammed it into the net, but
he's given a corner though. That's the point. They wanted to get that one right, and Scotland are still under pretty severe pressure. The quality of corners have been good from the Greeks in this second half already, and Scotland have to cope with this massive pressure in the first 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, another corner, this time from the right-hand side once more. Tsimikas' deliveries have been excellent. Here's another one. In-swinger, Craig Gordon gets a good punch to the edge of the box. Back in it comes from Karetsas. That's blocked. Karetsas picks up once more on the spin. Tries to get the shot in. It's blocked as well. Scotland battling for their life for the first time under pressure in the game, but they managed to see that out just for the moment. 52 in, Greece nil, Scotland 1.
Do you know what? Karetsas has been the middle of absolutely everything since he's come on. First touch wasn't great, bad cross. Since then, he's had 3 or 4 chances to get the ball, and they've been blocked every single time. But the quality he's shown already looks pretty special, and I just wonder if Stevie Clarke at some point might think, Kieran Tierney in front of the left back there, that might kill his space.
Greece still in possession. They have been bossing it at the outset of this second period, but still they trail by a goal to nil. Scott McTominay the scorer, but it's Greece pinning Scotland back. Tsimikas picks up left-hand side. Suter gets the header clear, and Scotland will pick up once more as McTominay spinning away under pressure from 2 Greek players, but holds on to possession, brings it out to the right-hand side. There he goes down. The referee's not interested. Forward come Greece once more. Ralston in the way. Will be picked up at the edge of the box by Giannidis. Invites Rota forward, right-hand side, just outside the box. Plays it forward to Karetsas, the substitute. Turns one way, then the other. Sends it in, away by Ralston. Only half clear. Then Ralston gets it further cleared. But it's all Greece just at the moment. A poor pass though from Koulirakis sends it straight behind for a goal kick. The Scotland backline has been under significant pressure, but they've stood up thus far. 53 in, Greece nil, Scotland 1.
Yeah, but if they keep on putting that sort of pressure on for the rest of the game, Scotland will buckle. Any team will buckle. The Greeks have been very, very good at the start of the second half. It's imperative for Scotland that they need to get their foot in the ball. Somehow in the midfield need to calm it down, or the centre forward has to hold it up. None of that has been happening in the second half so far.
Where was this Greek side in the first half?
Well, they have come out. I think the manager's had quite a strong word in the dressing room there. They have been very good in this second half.
Scotland trying to take the ball forward. Yes, the Serbian coach Ivan Jovanovic of Greece took over ahead of that Nations League campaign, succeeding Gus Poyet, having been charged recently of Panathinaikos and guided them to this point. A good record in that Nations League, winning 6 of the last 7 games. And here they are in possession on the halfway line, controlling the game at this period, but trailing by a goal to nil. Scott McTominay with a penalty, his 12th international goal, but it's Greece looking for a leveller here to take it. A positive result back to Hampden on Sunday. Greece at the edge of the penalty area, trying to find a killer pass. It's blocked away again by the Scotland defence, but Greece pick up once more, and it's Solis who had the ball in the back of the net, but it was chopped off. Tsimikas gets to the byline. Cross for Karetsas. Right hand side of the box, tries to curl one, and by his reaction that wasn't far off, but it does remain 3-0, Scotland 1.
Try and remember where you were if you first just heard that name, Karetsas. He's a class act. That kid's 17 and doing what he's already doing in this game so far. He's given Andy Robertson an incredibly hard time out in that wide area, and you can just tell by the way some players take the ball, move the ball, complete control of the situation. Every Greek player, when he gets the ball, looks for him, tries to find him. This kid's special.
What was that, about a foot away perhaps from finding the top corner there?
He's doing all the right things. It doesn't matter if he gets it or not, he's doing all the right things.
Here's Solis up to the edge of the box on the left hand side. He tries to curl one, that's a bit more off target this time. But Greece are ramping up the pressure on this Scotland back line. 10 minutes of the second half gone though. They haven't been able to find an equaliser. It's still Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Yeah, but Scotland are really struggling. But I'm looking down there at Ralston, right back. He looks tired. Remember, he got that injury earlier on there, and it seems to have slowed them down a bit. Crosses are coming in consistently from the right and from the left. That cannot keep on going on. Scotland, at this point in time, cannot string two passes together. They are utter total pressure they are under just now.
Tony Ralston hasn't played in the last 7 games for Celtic, so it's understandable the match fitness has dropped off a little bit. But here's Shea Adams at the edge of the box, battling away but losing out, and Greece emerge with possession and come forward, and it's Solis laying it back to Tsimikas, who's had far more of a say in this second period with his corner kick deliveries, particularly dangerous. Forward they come, the Greeks. Right hand side, it's young Karetsas picking up. Left-footed player playing on the right flank, cutting in up to the edge of the penalty area. They come looking for an equalising goal. It's Siopis playing into his captain Mantalos. Greece still in possession, edging ever closer to that Scots goal. Right hand side is Rota. Back it goes to Siolis once more, spins on the ball and then gets it further out to the right hand side for Rota once more. Plenty of good movement here, and then a foul by Kenny McLean on the young substitute Karetsas, and it'll be a free kick to Greece, pretty much in line with the 18-yard box out to the right hand side, and just a couple of yards in from the touchline as they look to threaten once more, and Tsimikas will once again go over and deliver the set piece, and this is trouble again for the Scots.
Yep, the quality's been good in generally from corner kicks. This is in a wider area, and actually a much more difficult area to defend from. But the confidence coursing through this Greek team is incredible, and Stevie Clarke must be down there thinking, do I make a change now? Because you're really under the cosh.
Tsimikas lines up the set piece, curls it in towards Craig Gordon's goal. Great punch from the keeper. Gets it clear as far as Siopis. Back out to Tsimikas on the right hand side, up against him again, trying to get the cross. Turns back onto his right foot this time. It's just over the first Greek player, but it might come to Solis on the left hand side of the box, trying to find room for the cross. Lays it back there to Koulirakis. Now it's Solis once more, tries to hammer it across goal. It comes off Scott McTominay. There will be another Greece corner, left hand side. 58 minutes played. Greece 0, Scotland 1.
See, for the last 3 or 4 minutes, the furthest Scotland player up the field has been on his own penalty spot. That's how much pressure Scotland have been under just now, and every single player's back there doing the same thing.
Can the Scots survive? Tsimikas again, left hand side, outswinger is met by Mavropanos on the penalty spot, but he heads it wide of goal, and Craig Gordon untroubled on that occasion. But there's only so long that this kind of pressure can go unrewarded for the Greeks. But it does remain Greece 0, Scotland 1.
You just wonder, can the Greeks keep it up? You know, it is a really high tempo, but it's much harder to do this sort of stuff, to chase without the ball, and Scotland have been totally without the ball in the second half.
McGinn and Gilmore exchange passes here on the right hand side, and then it's played off Ioannidis, and it will be a throw in to Scotland, and absolutely no hurry for Tony Ralston to take this one just in front of the technical area of his manager Steve Clarke, who's just out there just trying to G's players up somewhat, looking for a little bit more energy from them after a terrific first half in which they were by far the better side and got the opening goal, which still separates the two sides as Tsimikas picks up on the halfway line under pressure from McGinn. He goes back the way infield to Mavropanos, who goes out to the right hand side to Karetsas. Back it goes to Rota. and then he goes all the way back to Solakis in the goal. Played out to Kouliarakis, midway inside the Greek half, up towards the halfway line comes the Wolfsburg defender. Back in field to Mavropanos inside the centre circle, looking for a way forward. Plays it short to Mantalos, the Greek captain. He wants options ahead of him. It's played into the feet of Giannidis, but he couldn't hold it up. Scotland have it back. It's McTominay finding him again. Can they now counter on the Greeks and deliver a real body blow after a terrific start to the second half from the home side, but no goal to show for it? And so after an hour, Scotland still lead by a goal to nil. It's McLean just outside his own penalty area.
Well, technically, what Scotland were brilliant at in the first half was winning the ball fairly high up the field, and that really worried the Greeks on. They'll be able to control themselves into the game. They haven't done that in the second half until 30 seconds ago. They managed to win the ball in a good area, and since then, look, Scotland are holding the ball better, a little bit calmer. It's whether they can keep on doing that, but it's hard to keep on winning the ball high up the field because everybody has to work in that press.
Hanley fires it forward into the feet of McGinn in the edge of the centre circle, does well to use his strength to lay it back for McLean, and now it's McTominay on the halfway line. Leaves it back to Hanley, and now it's McLean once more. Back into McTominay, still on the halfway line. As Greece for the first time have to get organised in their own shape as Scotland enjoy really the first spell of possession in the opening 16 minutes of this second period, but still the Scots lead by a goal to nil. Scott McTominay, the goal scorer from the spot. A dubious penalty awarded, but Scotland absolutely take it. It's a loose pass there from Gilmour again, but there's Suter to get it before Giannidis knocks it back to Craig Gordon. Now Hanley, and out to McLean, who clips it forward but out of play before McTominay can bring it under control, and Greece will have the throw in over on the far side, midway inside the Scotland half. Greece nil, Scotland 1 after 62 minutes of this Nations League League A playoff first leg out in Athens, with the second leg to come at Hampden on Sunday. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland and BBC Radio 5 Live as Tsimikas plays a loose ball forward looking for Solis, and then that allows McGinn to step in and get it back to Craig Gordon, who sweeps it down the right hand side, well held up by Adams, and a lovely little flick for Gilmour, who's taken down, but Scotland have possession and they're on a good counter. It's McTominay leading it. Outside of him goes Robertson up to the edge of the penalty area. It is Robertson getting a ricochet off the substitute Karetsas, and it wouldn't quite fall for the fullback, and it's back in the possession of Solakis, who immediately gets Greece moving forward once more. Giannidis won't catch that pass though, and out comes Craig Gordon to the edge of his box to catch that one. Greece still, Scotland 1, 18 minutes of the second half played.
And the game's lengthened again, and I don't really know if Scotland want that, because when the Greeks, what they are doing, they're changing the pace a little bit. They've got real speed up front. Even Kretsas, who they've brought on, is a very pacey player as well, as a very talented player as well. But that's kind of the Scotland way. They want to get a little bit of that pressure off now and again. Scotland will make some changes in the next few minutes. They've done an hour. They've under a little bit of pressure. They've now had 2 or 3 minutes where it's been less, but it's going to come back again.
Suter clips it forward, but out of play. Greece throwing, and referee showing a yellow card there for the challenge. Actually, he's going all the way back to that challenge by Siopis on Billy Gilmour. That was a good couple of minutes ago as Scotland tried to counter, and he will be out of the second leg. Siopis was one of the Greek players on a yellow card, and he will miss the game at Hampden because that is a second, and that's confirmed on the monitor to our right. Misses the next match for the challenge we're seeing a replay of, and it was a very crude challenge by the Greek midfielder, Pat.
Yeah, he goes to ground, he's got both of his studs up, he doesn't get through it really hard, Billy Gilmour, but it's reckless, and the referee's probably right to go for a yellow card there. But that's Siopis' game, that's kind of like that. He was the player in the first minute who went right through Billy Gilmour, so he's got to accept that's going to happen to him sometimes.
Former Cardiff man, now with Panathinaikos. And here is Gilmour moving forward, trying to get away from Siopis, who can't foul him. Leaves it back to John McGinn, who's going to go for a goal, and that's not too far away from McGinn. I wonder if he could have taken it a little bit further in towards goal, but he unleashed a powerful effort, just a yard or so over the crossbar. He's still Scotland 1.
Yeah, lovely play by Billy Gilmour. He manages to drive players out the way there. And you are right, maybe another little step in from John McGinn there. He hits it from distance, and you just want to get it on target. Ask the goalkeeper a question, didn't manage to do so. But that'll worry the Greeks a little bit, that Scotland can do that, because if they lose another goal, go 2-0 down, it is a mountain for them to climb, bigger than the Parthenon we went on today.
It was quite the hike. Here's Karetsas, right-hand side for Greece as they look for a leveller. Can't get it past Grant Hanley, though, who has turned in a very impressive performance, despite the fact that he's barely played this season at club level. And here come Greece once more, right-hand side, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Back to Siopis, and then all the way back to Mavropanos, who plays it square for Kouliarakis. Now it's Solis, midway inside the Scotland half, up against Ralston, plays it infield to the captain Mantalos of AEK Athens, out to the right-hand side to Rota, and now Karetsas once more getting on the ball and facing up Andy Robertson. Back comes Ferguson to try and help, still Karetsas to the byline. Ferguson gets a touch there, but he plays it off Karetsas, and the assistant referee signals for a goal kick to Scotland. 20 minutes gone in this second period, and it remains Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Yeah, but the storm has abated somewhat on Scotland these last 4 or 5 minutes, and well done Ferguson there. He sees immediately where the danger is, and he's come back there and he's helped Andy Robertson a little bit. And if you've got a quality player against you, you need to go and help your mate out a wee bit, and they've managed to do that, and that's slowed the Greeks down a little bit, which is exactly what Stevie Clarke was wanting. So he didn't make the changes, he just waited it out, and it may well be that it's worked. We shall see.
It's going to be, I think, a double change from Greece imminently. Christos Zafiris was certainly one of the players who was stripped and ready to come on. We'll just see if that eventually happens.
We'd expect Siopsis to come off, you know, being on a yellow card just now and playing in that sort of position as well.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea, would it? As McTominay picks up, and then left-hand side it's Ferguson all the way back from the middle of the park to Craig Gordon, who takes a touch and then plays it square to John Souttar, still inside his own penalty area. Forward though for Gilmour, into McGinn. McGinn turns away, tries to hold off a couple of Greek players, then he's run into trouble. Tsimikas looked to knock it out of play. The throw-in though goes the way of the Greeks, and forward they come down the left-hand side, and it's picked up by Tsimikas once more, left of the penalty area. Across comes Ralston to try and close him down. It's cut out by him again, but might fall kindly here for Solis at the edge of the box. Back the way to Mantalos, and now Siopis still in the park to Rota, out to the right-hand side once more for Karetsas. Teases it into the penalty, a great ball off the post, and John McGinn picks up, so close to the equaliser, as Solis stole in at the back post but couldn't force it home, denied by the upright, and Scotland come forward on the counter. It's McTominay up against Mavropanos, can't get beyond him, and the Greek defender picks up, but Greece mightily close to a leveller, but after 67.5 minutes it's still Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Got to stop Karetsas, can he give him that space?
Here comes Solis, left hand side into the penalty area, chance here for Solis, deflection, and it's wide off the heel of Souttar. The deflection, he knew nothing about where that was going to end up, nor did Craig Gordon, but fortunately for the Scots it heads wide. It's another Greek corner, and it's still Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Well, Greece are playing so well just now, they're creating so many chances. Scotland are living on luck, nothing else. So I am staggered that they're going to make 3 changes. Absolutely on top of this game.
Does look like a triple change is imminent, but not before this corner kick comes in from Tsimikas. Solis so unlucky just a moment ago from the cross by Karetsas, but in comes the corner. It's a Scots head, and the Shepherd Ferguson that gets to it. Comes out to the edge of the box to Siopis. His volley is charged down and all the way back to the centre circle to Rota. Could be the last act here of Siopis as he picks up possession midway inside the Scots half. Greece knocking on the door here, yet to be let in by the Scots as Karetsas comes out to the left-hand side, picks a pass, looking for Solis as he found him just a moment ago. He couldn't on that occasion, but it was a wonderful teasing delivery from the right-hand side a moment ago by Karetsas, and Solis off the post and into the back of the net.
It was actually undefendable. You could not defend that at all. And Scotland just got lucky, nothing more than that. Craig Gordon come out, put him off a little bit, but it was a good connection, hit the post, could have gone anywhere, and Scotland breathe again. There's a couple of times tonight, but Scotland have been lucky, it has to be said.
Greece in possession, still the players await to come on. It might be down to 2 as in they get to the penalty area once more. It comes off Hanley, and will be another corner.
Do you know what? Karetsas is out in the right wing there. He's 17, he's playing his first game, and he's turning to the Greek crowd going, come on, get up, come on. Honestly, You just see some people sometimes and you think, you could be for great things, mate.
Yeah, it could be a star in the making as Tsimikas prepares to take the corner kick, right-hand side, left-footed, in-swinger into the 6-yard box. It's Hanley who gets his head to it, gets it out of the penalty area, but still it's in Greek possession. Back into the box again, it's Hanley who meets it first. Picked up on the edge by Gilmore. Forward it goes to Adams. He can't pick up possession, and Greece have it once more. Into the Scotland penalty area it comes once more. Rota's well advanced, but he can't bring under control. Craig Gordon dives on it. 70 minutes played, and somehow it's still Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Do you know what? Watching the Greeks in the first half, and you're thinking, yeah, they're stodgy, they're well organised, you know, but why on earth are they winning so many games? Why on earth are they doing so well? Well, we can see for the 22, 23 minutes that we've seen this second half, when they turn the volume up a bit, they are a good side. They move very, very quickly.
It's a poor challenge from Koulirakis on Adams. I think we're going to get that triple change now. Indeed we are. So, let me try and keep a track of these. Zafiris is going to come on for Solis. Pavlidis is going to come on for Konstantelias. And the final change as the cheer that greeted Pavlidis there that you heard, and the final change that's been made is Pelkas coming on for Mantalos. So that is a surprise, Pat, in the sense that, as you predicted, Siopis, he hasn't come off.
I'm mildly surprised by that, but in actual fact, they have brought some quality on. They've brought another striker, obviously, and Pavlidis as well. He's a natural goal scorer, gets his chances, and his lips must be wetting at the moment, thinking of the player out wide he's got, who's already getting the ball every time he gets it. Those are dangerous about scoring, or putting in some serious balls into danger areas.
Here come the Greeks once more, and it's Zafiris, the substitute, who's gone into the middle of the park in place of the captain, Mantalos. Out to the right-hand side it goes to Karetz. That's another great ball in, but Ralston's first two, it just fell between two Greek players there. Pavlidis couldn't reach it, and Scotland managed to get the ball clear from deep in their own territory. They've got 18 minutes to hold out, and very much is a case at the moment of holding out. They leap trail the Greeks by a goal to nil, scored in the first half from the penalty spot by Scott McTominay, but they have been well on top in this second half. And the closest they came was a Solis effort just a few minutes ago off the post. Again, it's sent into the Scots penalty area. Again, it's Grant Hanley who gets the ball clear. The Scotland line very, very deep just at the moment. And it's just a question of, can they keep the Greeks at bay for the rest of the 90 minutes, as McGinn picks up right-hand side and tries to get Scotland up the park. He's having to work ever so hard to even just keep the ball, and in the end he fails to do so, as Siopis picks up possession and has Greece moving forward once again. It's Tsimikas forward for Pavlidis, left-hand side of the penalty area, the Benfica striker. Back it comes to Pelkas into the penalty area. It's headed away again by the Scotland backline, and Shea Adams will try and drag Scotland up the park. Scotland surely must be thinking about a couple of changes, even if just to bring on some fresh legs.
There's certainly tiredness there. Tiredness all the way through the team, there's no doubt about that. But watching Scotland just now, I'm trying to think the last time Scotland under this sort of pressure. You're looking back to the Portugal game away from home, when Scotland managed to survive huge amount of time with a huge amount of pressure. So they're used to them. They've been through this before, but it's a tough one.
Greece have it. Seems like Kieran Tierney might be being readied down below us. As the Arsenal man, Celtic bound in the summer, prepares to come on for his first appearance in a Scotland jersey since having to limp off at the Euros. It's Greece coming forward once more. Koulirakis joining in the attack, puts it through the legs of John McGinn on this left flank, then pokes it infield. Zafiris looking for the 1-2, doesn't come off as Pelkas misplaces the pass. Now it's McGinn deep in his own territory, fouled by Tsimikas, and Scotland take the welcome respite from the free kick that's going to come their way. 74.5 minutes played here, as Tierney is getting final words here from
McKenna McLean's going to come off,
Steve Clark, and it's going to be George Hurst as well coming on for a debut here, presumably to replace Shea Adams up front as that lone striker, and a Scotland debut then for the Ipswich man. Big moment for him.
Yeah, a huge moment for him, and you know, I think Shea Adams looks a bit miffed, but in actual fact he's put in a solid today. What a performance he's put in. It's been hard for him, but I understand the other one. Tierney coming in a kind of left midfieldy role to stand in front of obviously Robertson, and he's going to try and stop this brilliant young player that's come on, Karatsas, but also drive the other direction, see if he can ask some questions of the Greeks and push them the other way. Makes absolute sense to me, that change.
So a double change for the Scots, with Tierney and Hurst coming on, and Hurst has just taken up that position that was held by Shea Adams for the final quarter of an hour here. First call up, first time in the squad, and first time on the field as a Scotland player, son of former England international and Sheffield Wednesday striker David Hurst. But it's Greece coming forward through Pavlidis to the edge of the box. Now it's Petkas into the back post. Karatsas can't bring it under control. It will come though to Rota, midway inside the Scots half, right hand side. He comes in field, the fullback, looking for a way through, plays it into Pavlidis, tries to thread it through. A whole host of Scotland players can't manage to find a teammate, and Hurst will try and bring Scotland up the park, but it's a good interception from Siopis to cut that out, and Greece pick up possession once more.
It's a tough one for Hurst to come on. He'll have to put himself around. He's a tall lad. Doesn't get all that many starts. Obviously, Delap's not bad in that position.
Tsimikas plays it all the way to the back post to Karatsas, up against Tierney. Can he get past him to get the shot away? Instead he lays it back to the edge of the box to Zafiris, and now Kouliarakis, left hand side of the penalty area. It's a good ball in, Robertson's there, he heads it back and over the crossbar and behind for another corner. 77 on the clock, Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Noticeable, first time Karatsas gets the ball since Tierney's come on. Who's right in front of his face? Kieran Tierney, and if he gets by him, he's waiting for Robertson as well. Absolutely understand what Stevie Clark's trying to do there.
Here comes a corner. Tsimikas sends it in. It's met by a Scotland head at the near post. I think it was Hurst who made an important contribution. Sent back in by Pavlidis. Headed back across, goal by Mavropanos. Scotland struggling to get it clear, and in the end just turn it behind through Gilmore. Again, it's incessant Greek pressure here, but still they haven't been able to force a meaningful save from Craig Gordon. I'm not sure they've had a shot on target off the post as close as they've come, but it does feel like a goal could be on its way as the Greeks prepare for yet another corner, this time from the left hand side. Tsimikas to send it in, the outswinger incoming onto the penalty spot. It goes again. Hanley towering above everyone else. Robertson will try and help it clear and just knocks it out of play on this near side. Greece have the throw-in, quickly taken by Tsimikas, back to Zafiris. And Tsimikas once more, left-hand side, about 15 yards from the Scots byline. Back it goes to Kouliarakis, he'll send it in from the left flank. Headed away by Suter, gets good distance on it, but will be picked up by Zafiris in the midfield, and then out to the right-hand side to Rota. McGinn in front of him, but Rota gets the cross in, comes off the head of Suter, chested back to the goalkeeper by Ferguson. Good play from him. And with 78.5 on the clock, it's still Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Actually, brilliant play for Ferguson there, because you're desperate for a little bit of respite here. Once again, the Scotland defence, they were all inside an area which was behind their own penalty spot. Ferguson's come over to the right-hand side, and actually looks a little bit more comfortable there. And you've got, obviously, Tierney on the left-hand side. It's still a 4-5-1. And that's been kind to Scotland, because that one's not very far up the field, and Hurst at the moment, not going to kick the ball, but certainly getting no help up there.
Greece have it left-hand side, inside their own half. They're going to make another change just shortly, as Funtas is going to come on, but it's Pelkas bringing them forward. Tavlidis now up to the edge of the penalty area. Well challenged by Suter, but he still manages to poke it out to Pelkas left-hand side up against Ferguson. Lays it back the way to Zafiris on the edge of the box. Now it's into Siopis, back out to the left to Tsimikas, who's been pretty much playing as a winger in this second period. Swings it into the back post, the header comes in. That looked like it might have been on target, but it doesn't really trouble Craig Gordon. Zafiris, I think it was, who got his head on it. Yaridis actually at the back post, but comfortably saved by Craig Gordon, and it remains Greece 0, Scotland 1.
I have to say, Tsimikas has been superb, isn't he, in the second half? Ostensibly left back, but actually he's playing as a left winger all the time, getting into great positions there, getting the ball in. He just needs to get one onto the head of Ioannidis or Pavlidis. Not managed to do that yet.
Here's Tierney into McGinn. Foul there about 20 yards inside his own half, and Scotland will get a little breather here as Ioannidis is going to be replaced here for the closing stages by Takiaris Funtas. Here Denmark have taken the lead at home to Portugal, and it's Højlund of Man United, Rasmus Højlund, who has got that opening goal with 10 to play there in Copenhagen, gives them a first half lead. Here's Ferguson at the edge of the Greek box, can't quite smuggle it through to Tierney, and he's dispossessed, and forward come Greece, looking for an equaliser on the night. Just over 9 minutes of the 90 to play. He's coming forward through Karetsas into the penalty. He comes weaving his way through a couple of challenges, but not the third. Can't get beyond Tierney, but Robertson's lost it at the edge of the box, and Greece pick up once more on the angle of the box right hand side, looking for what you would have to admit would be a deserved equaliser in this second half. Tsimikas is down on his haunches at the halfway line, limping heavily as he gets back to his feet, and they don't have any subs left to play. They've just made the last one. You'll be hoping to shake that off for the final 8.5 minutes. They're in possession through Kyliakis, midway inside Scotland territory. Scotland have everyone behind the ball midway inside their own half. Here is Tsimikas picking up possession. Still he's feeling the effects of a previous challenge, but it's Greece coming forward. Right hand side, Rota. Now Zafiris out to the right hand side once more. Picked up by Rota, and now back the way they go, looking to find a little chink in the armour of the Scots defence. 8 minutes left on the clock as Ryan Porteous is going to come on for the closing stages for his first appearance since his dismissal against Germany in the first game of the European Championship. Here's Tsimikas, left hand side, faced up by Lewis Ferguson. Scotland looking to see out this game with a 1-goal advantage to take back to Hampden on Sunday for the second leg. Forward comes Mavropanos, looking to change that. Out to the right hand side it goes to Rota, back in field, cross comes into the box. Hanley yet again the first to it with a header clear. He's been right up there with man of the match contenders for Scotland, but Scotland have coughed up possession only to be given it back, and it's Hurst to Tierney, and now back with Robertson from the edge of his penalty area, clips it forward for Tierney once more. He helps it on looking for Hurst. Back the way goes Zafiris, and gets it infield to Mavropanos at the edge of the centre circle. 7 minutes left for Scotland to hold on. 1-0 they lead as Porteous still limbers up on the touchline here. Greece looking for a way through to take this back at least level to Glasgow in a few days' time. Back it goes to Kyliakis. Now Mavropanos, the only Greek player back on the halfway line. Everyone else forward looking for this leveller. It's Zafiris out to the right hand side to the highly impressive teenager Karetsas. Forward they come, it's Pavlidis just at the edge of the box. Is there a trip there? Referee thinks about it, points to the spot, and Greece have a penalty kick. Much as Scotland got one in this first period, it's another decision in that penalty area, and again the referee absolutely certain as he points to the penalty spot, and Greece have a big opportunity here to level things up.
You know, there wasn't a great argument from many of the Scotland players there, which makes you wonder, but is it inside or outside the box? I have a slight suspicion that might be slightly outside the box, where they come, where it, you know, you actually, when his foot comes down for the tackle, it's outside the box.
It's outside, surely but this is probably overturned.
It's the contact, it's not on his foot, it's higher. But to be fair, I disagreed with the referee last time. I didn't think it was a penalty. I would disagree with him if he gives a penalty again. I think that's outside the box.
It's Grant Hanley's challenge. It looks on the monitor that it's clearly outside the box. As
well, we don't trust this VAR this time, because He didn't go as the first one, and at least they're looking at it. That's what you wanted VAR to do, consider it.
It's definitely a foul. I don't think there's any question about that.
Yes.
Hanley fouls Funtas, the substitute. The referee's been spoken to by VAR.
Yeah.
And the Greek players coming up to the referee trying to make their case.
Well, Robertson's saying, oh, I've got an armband on, I'm a captain, I can talk to the referee. If you want your captain to come up, you bring him. And there is the check. There's definitely a check going on here. Big moments for Scotland. To be honest, let's be fair, they're deserving of a little bit of luck, the Greeks, aren't they?
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to get it. The referee's explaining what's going to happen here. He's making the TV sign, and he is pointing, I think, for the free kick.
Yeah, got that one right.
Greece.
Yeah, got that one right.
It was very fractionally outside, but the referee and his officials have come to the correct decision. I'm not so sure they got the first half penalty decision right in Scotland's favour, but I think they have got this one right, where Greece thought they had a penalty, but now they have a free kick in a very dangerous position.
Yeah, maybe if anything, just slightly too close at the moment. I'm trying to see what Billy Gilmore's saying at the moment. He's wanting something to happen. He's wanting something to be taken off. Do they want to make a substitution before this free kick's taken? Nope, nothing's going to happen there. Referee's getting them back the full 10 yards. It actually looks at least 10 yards, maybe a little bit more than that. And I'm just wondering, Karetsas, 17, just come on. Does he fancy it? I bet he does. It's whether he'll be allowed to take it as a young player.
I think Tsimikas has got to pull rank. He's got.
He should do.
I mean, he's been on all the set pieces, hasn't he? And he curled one just over the top from a similar position, you've got to say, in the first period at the other end. And yeah, Karetsas isn't part of the equation there. It's Pelkas and Tsimikas who are over it, but it does favour the left foot. You would have to think just right of centre, about 19 yards from goal. Craig Gordon crouched on his line, trying to keep the scoreline at Greece 0, Scotland 1, with just 3 and a bit minutes to play. Actually, it's Pelkas right into the wall. The Scotland wall held firm, and it's ricocheted right out of play over on the far side. The job done well by the wall there, and it remains Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Yeah, it's classically one of those ones. It was too close. It was only 18.1 yards out.
Scott McTominay picks up possession in the halfway line. I wonder if he'd looked up, the goalkeeper was well outside his area. He might have gone for the spectacular, but instead Scotland probably wisely just keep possession, because they haven't enjoyed a whole lot of it in this second period. And Hanley goes back to his goalkeeper, Craig Gordon, who's had very few saves to make despite the huge pressure that the Greeks have enjoyed in this second half. They haven't overly troubled the keeper, and that is testament, I suppose, to the defence, the hard work of the defence. And when I say defence, I mean just about every single outfield player for Scotland in front of Craig Gordon. Here's Hurst at the other end on the right flank, trying to get bodies forward now, Scotland, as Hurst takes it to the byline. Can he get the cross in? Tries to dig it out, but there's no Scotland players in the 6-yard box. Comfortable take for Salakis. 2 minutes to play plus stoppage time. Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Yeah, but Scotland are breaking up there. You take that to the corner, you kill the game. We've not done that, and Greece are on the attack.
Zafiris picks up in the middle of the park, tracked by Ferguson, out to the right-hand side. Karetsas has it, into the penalty area, comes, takes a deflection, and then Pavlidis heads over the top. It's a difficult one for him to do anything with. Tries to glance the header, but it doesn't work. And now at last Ryan Porteous is going to come onto the field to play as Scotland make another change in these dying moments. 88 minutes on the clock, Scotland 0, Greece 1. It's going to be Tony Ralston who's going to be replaced. He's been ushered off by the referee, but he's unhurried, the Celtic fullback, as he comes off, applauds the Scotland fans away to our right, who are absolutely loving life at Athens right now. 1-0 they lead.
Do you know what, I have to say, well done once again, Ralston. Look, he's not got many games for Celtic. He's been asked to do 88.5 minutes there. I think he's been playing injured from about the 46th minute there. But because Scotland haven't got any natural right fullbacks, they had to keep him on there. And he's done a sterling job. Porteous now has to go and do that position. Let's just hope he doesn't dive in like he did last time.
Scotland have it with McGinn, but he's nudged off the ball, and forward will come Greece. It's Funtas who dispossessed him. They're getting plenty bodies forward as he searches for a leveller. Karetsas up to the edge of the box. He goes for goals. A poor effort though this time from the 17-year-old. Well, he's more experienced teammates applauding his idea, but it wasn't well executed at all. We're into the final minute of the 90. The fourth official readying the board that will show us exactly how much more time will be added on. But currently it's Greece 0, Scotland 1.
You know what, and you know, if you're under this much pressure and you're, say, a Scotland fan watching this, these minutes should be dragging. Actually, they haven't dragged, because the game is going on at such a pace. I've been very, very impressed by the Greeks in the second half, less so in the first half. But they stopped diving about, rolling about, you know, trying to fake everything, and just went out and gone and played a game of football. And they are a far better side for it.
It's Tierney on the right wing just now. I thought he was offside, but play being allowed to continue as he pokes it into Hurst, who is taking the ball to the corner flag this time. 5 minutes added on at the end of this one, and we are into that right now as Greece win possession back deep in their own territory, but now they've been dispossessed. We've got it back once more as Porteous goes through the Greek player there. It's very dodgy, completely unnecessary, but very Ryan Porteous-like challenge. And he just needs to cut that kind of thing out of his game, Pat.
It is the follow-through there is, as you say, unnecessary is the word. It's one of those ones, some referees would look very, very dimly on that, and from a different angle, he would have given a free kick even though he got the ball, because it was a reckless follow-through.
Some VARs would have looked very dimly on it. He's lucky it hasn't been looked at in any great detail, I don't think, but it was just he won the ball initially, but just followed through and made connection with the Greek player's shin as Greece do pick up possession. We played a minute of the 5 added on. Greece 0, Scotland 1 in this Nations League first leg, League A playoff. Scotland hoping to take a 1-goal advantage back to Hampden. It'll be hard earned if they can manage it. Out it goes to Karetsa's right hand side, looking to curl it in on that gorgeous left foot of his. He does manage to do so, comes off the head of Gilmore. Then it's Ferguson getting it out of the penalty area, but Greece pick up once more. Koulirakis at the edge of the box. Oh, he blasts it way over the top. Well, that'll do for Scotland. You can try that all day long if you like. The centre back stepping forward, a rash effort. It's over the top. It's a goal kick to Scotland, but played a minute and a half of added on time, and it's Greece 0, Scotland 1.
We're just beginning to see the finishing line with Scots here. They've worked incredibly hard. They've hardly got over the halfway line in the majority of this second half. The Greeks have been playing well, but as you say, it's the defenders have worked hard, but remember the organisation that this Scottish team have got with the coaching staff that Stevie Clarke and himself and the others have put in there has done a great job.
Hanley again winning a challenge in the middle of the park. Tierney forced to hurry and loses possession. It's picked up in the middle of the park again by the Greeks. Pelkas finds Rota right back, still on the halfway line. Scotland are halfway through the 5 minutes added on as they look to see out this 1-goal lead they have. The second leg at Hampden on Sunday, but regardless of the scoreline, I think that they take back, it will not be over as Greece come forward looking for a leveller, but they can't link up at the edge of the box. The ball is behind Tavlidis, and eventually Craig Gordon diving on it after a delay before any Greek players closed them down. Pavlidis frustrated by the Scotland keeper. Scotland are going to make one final change, I think, in stoppage time as Craig Gordon is urged to get on with it. Max Johnston's going to come on for his Scotland debut as Porteous picks up just inside his own half. Just plays it forward for Ferguson. Hurst will go and chase that, but forlornly, as it's all the way back to Solakis in the Greek goal. We've got less than 2 minutes to find an equaliser here. It's picked up by Mavropanos inside his own half. Plays it forward for Funtas, who thought he'd won his side a penalty just a few minutes ago, but unfortunately for him, VAR checked and it was marginally outside the area, and so it was a free kick which came to nothing. And off will come Billy Gilmore for the closing minute and a little bit, to be replaced by Sturm Graz player Max Johnston, and a big moment for him as he helps to try and see this 1-goal advantage out for the Scots. As we've said already, perhaps not Billy Gilmore's finest night in a Scotland jersey, but the effort he and his teammates have put in has been unquestionable, Pat.
Yeah, sometimes when you're not having the best of games, you just keep it simple, you do the right things, you work your socks off and just get through the game. And I have to say, Billy Gilmore in the second half, he's got nowhere near controlling this game the way he likes to control the game. But effort-wise, absolutely 10 out of 10.
And Scotland virtually 6 at the back at the moment, with Tierney, Robertson, Hanley, Suter, Porteous and Johnston all strung across the back line for the closing 30 seconds. Actually, the pinch possession in their own half, it's played out from the right hand side. McTominay, Johnston cleverly just plays it off. Zafiris gets his side a throw in. There'll be absolutely no hurry to take this. Pavlidis trying to encourage Ryan Porteous to get a move on, but with just 15 seconds left of 5 minutes to be added on, Scotland will try and tick the clock down as much as possible here in these dying embers of a fascinating first leg. Hurst is penalised, the ball's played up the right flank. Greece will have a free kick deep in their own territory. They need the ball forward. We've gone beyond the 5 initially added on. It's Greece 0, Scotland 1. Is their one final chance for the home side to create an equaliser here before we head back to Hampden for the return leg on Sunday evening. It's Mavropanos bringing it forward. Looks like he's overhit that. It's kept in though by Pelkas down at the corner flag left hand side. Max Johnston with him, back with Tsimikas in the angle of the box. Porteous brings him down. There's going to be a free kick in the final seconds here to Greece, just at the angle of the box, left hand side. This is another chance.
You just don't dive in there. It's again unnecessary. Get yourself to square. Look, Porteous is not a right full back, and he's out wide where he's uncomfortable. But to give a free kick away there in a danger where everyone can come up, and Scotland have to survive this. If they survive this cross, they're fine.
I'm not sure why there's more than a minute gone beyond the 5.
Substitution.
Aye, well, that doesn't take a minute though, but it's not supposed to. It's 30 seconds. Anyway, Zafiris and Tsimikas send the ball in. Tsimikas, it sends it and it's over the top from Funtas from 20 yards out, and surely now that should be that. Indeed, the referee blows a full-time whistle, and Scotland have recorded a massive victory in the first leg of this Nations League League A first leg playoff. Scott McTominay's penalty won by the former Man United player himself as he went down in the box. Perhaps a fortuitous award when you look back at it, but McTominay cared not as he converted. The Scots dominated that first period, should have had more than the one goal as Adams and Gilmore both passed up really good opportunities. Greece were by far the better side in the second period. They threw everything at Scotland, but the closest they came was a Sully's effort after 68 minutes off the post. They didn't quite bombard the Scots goal, but they had so much pressure in that second half, Pat. Really a game of two halves, the proverbial game of two halves. But Scotland emerged with a victory.
I mean, you've got to take it. Sometimes you get lucky. I mean, I've watched Scotland, played for Scotland long enough over the years. We've got unlucky many times. Tonight we got a little bit lucky. Certainly that penalty kick, as you mentioned. And I think Scotland shaded it as a better team in the first half. Played the ball, held the ball well. Looked more accomplished in just about every area. And the second half was not just a turnaround, it's a complete volte-face. They've come round, they've not got out of their own half for the vast majority. The Greeks really turned it up. They gave up the diving and throwing themselves about, started playing some pretty good football. Made a big difference when they bring on the winger Keretsas. Every time we got the ball, look at danger. Scotland have to bring on another defender, which drags them even further back. But Scotland have been there before. And one of the things that Stevie Clarke has done over the years that he's been with Scotland has taught them that there's more than one way to win a game or survive a game. And if it means defending deep, working together and work, giving no space, you've got to do that. Right at the end here, before the game we were talking about who's going to play centre-half. Hanley and Suter tonight. Really brilliant. They gave nothing away and won just about every single header and never panicked at all. And those Scotland fans right now are enjoying their heroes in front of them.
Jubilant over to our right as the Scotland players go across to greet them. I said there was about 1,600 supposed to have tickets.
Oh, it's more than that.
I mean, there's miles more than that inside the stadium here. What I would say, Pat, is that this tie, although Scotland have the 1-0 advantage to take back to Hampden, this is not over.
Massive lift for the Greeks in the second half. They played that game as if to say, yeah, we can score against this team, we can dominate this team. Hey, it's going to be hard to go and do that away from home. It's going to be hard to do that at Hampden Park. And very, very confident that Scotland, if they play at their best and play the way they did in the first half, they can get through this and win it. Especially the fact you've got a little bit of a cushion, 1 goal up, and well, it's really nicely balanced. But it's balanced towards Scotland.
Yeah, it's on a knife edge, but just, as you say, edging towards the Scots as they take it back to Hampden, this League A playoff first leg in the Stadio Georgios Karaiskakis in Athens. It finishes Greece 0, Scotland 1.
Scotland.